Did you know that employer branding is the rising star of corporate growth, no matter how big or small the organization is? If that business wants to succeed, grow, and sustain a loyal customer audience, these organizations do need employees who create the innovations that give businesses a competitive edge. Talents who package those innovations into offers that almost sell themselves. Employees who take care of the customers in ways that build loyalty. Managers who help employees to grow and make the most of their skills, capabilities, and potential day after day. And leaders who paint an exciting and compelling vision of what future holds for the business, customers, and employees. I'm not sure if you have even thought about this, but the competitive business landscape is getting fiercer with technological advancements that are available, if not to all businesses, then at least most. And it is becoming increasingly difficult to build products and services that are truly better than those of competitors. And that is why talent acquisition and retention have become paramount to organizational success. And not just on the employee level, but equally in choosing the right leaders to manage people and results, lead with purpose and future opportunities, and understand what is left to stand out in the competitive landscape. Employer branding is one of the areas emerging as kind of a lighthouse, a beacon, guiding leaders and employees towards growth and innovation. And when I talk about employer branding, I'm not talking about recruitment campaigns. I am talking about branding. And branding is a very different domain than creating campaigns. And as we dive into this, into the essence of building a career in this dynamic field, I think it's very pivotal for leaders and managers to recognize the transformative power of real employer branding, a force that not only attracts talents, but shapes the way and the very core of successful organizations worldwide and creates this point of authentic competitive advantage for the entire business. And with that, I welcome you back to Building a Modern Employer Brand podcast. In this episode of the Building a Modern Employer Brand podcast, we'll address employer branding as a stellar career path for you. What does it mean for your career and life? Why is this a really compelling direction for you? And what does it mean and require from you to drive your career towards becoming a master of strategic employer branding? If this is your first time listening to this podcast, you are so welcome to join us in exploring what the world of modern employer branding holds for you. And this podcast is targeted at those working in talent branding, marketing, and communications, whatever your title is, regardless of whether you work part-time or full-time. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and as one of the world's top employer branding experts and influencers, I invite you to this weekly dose of modernized employer branding education and inspiration. I'm here to give you information, keep you up to date, and help you to succeed in your current employer branding tasks or plan and build a successful career in employer branding that resonates with top management and your key decision-making stakeholders in ways that they want to support you and pave your career in this domain. If this resonates with you, my friend, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast, make it part of your weekly routine, and follow and engage with me on my main social media platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn. And hey, my newer growth social media platforms, YouTube and TikTok as well. I want to talk about or start this episode with some statistical backing why employer branding matters. Did you know that recent research underscores the strategic importance of employer branding? I mean, if you have followed LinkedIn Global Talent Trends reports over the years, and there are other specific studies on employer branding, their research keeps suggesting that companies with strong employer brand see up to a 50% reduction in hiring costs and a marked decrease in turnover rates. Another source, Gallup's State of the American Workplace report, highlights that organizations with highly engaged workforces outperform their peers by 150% in earnings per share. I mean, these statistics paint a clear picture. The future of business growth is intricately tied to the strength of its employer brand. In a world where more than 70% of job seekers now evaluate and assess an employer's brand before choosing, even if they apply for the job, the message is really clear, crystal clear. The future belongs to those who master the art of employer branding. I want that to be you. Let's talk about the employer brand manager's skill set for the future. What kind of skills will you need as you grow and master this amazing role of an employer brand manager? I chose 5 skill sets that I find truly relevant and important based on my own experiences, managing not just only my 2 businesses' employer brands, but also countless employer brands of our clients over the years. And what I cannot emphasize more is strategic understanding and vision. At the very core of a business relevant employer branding, there is the strategic understanding of how a business works, how your employer's business works, and what your employer's business strategy means for talent attraction, acquisition, and retention. My strong strategic business acumen has been definitely one of my key competitive advantages when I was still in my in-house HR management career and when I became a consultant and advisor in talent attraction and acquisition domain over 12 years ago. And it has given me the capability to foresee evolving needs of an organization and how those needs are likely to impact their people plans, their people needs and requirements, their company culture, and even leadership. The second important skill set is great communication skills. Mastering the art of communication is truly a core skill for any employer branding professional. And it's not that your organization doesn't have the elements of being seen and felt as a fabulous employer and place to work. It's often the lack of communicating it in the right way. I mean, I've worked with hundreds of clients and cases over the years as a consultant, and I've never really experienced a place to work and an employer that wouldn't have something fabulous in them. Most often, all of you do. I mean, I hardly ever see any really rotten employers. Most of you are truly fabulous and amazing. You just don't have the skill to communicate it in the right way. And that's why you don't have employer brand. Employer branding is not the part of HR work where you develop and maintain the winning elements of a great organization, leadership, and employment, creating amazing employee experiences, loyalty, customer satisfaction, and success for the business. I want to emphasize this as well because even though it's oftentimes HR and talent acquisition that are responsible for all of this work, all of the great elements, developing and maintaining the greatness, the winning elements, the employer branding part of that is not the development part of those winning elements. And I think this is easier to kind of understand when I compare it to building a brand for a product or a service. So you already have that product or the service. You have the customers for it. You have customer experiences proving that there is something to actually brand in there. You are ready to sell it, and now you need the world to know about it, become aware of it, try it, and love that experience. Branding is not creating that product. The product already exists, and other people are responsible for creating and maintaining and sustaining whatever greatness there is in that product. It's what comes with launching the product and specifically making the world aware of it, know about its unique characteristics, the experiences of those who use it, and the promises that this product provides and offers for the users for a better life. And that's the act of employer branding often gets mixed with what happens before and after. So creating and ensuring that compelling and heartfelt opportunity and experience for the people, while employer branding is packaging those opportunities and experiences into the specific brand promise and brand feeling, and then making sure that your people in that target audience has lots of run-ons with it. So I think that it's important to differentiate which part of the HR work is actually employer branding and what needs to come before it and what comes after it. So if we compare to this branding a product, the product development part, developing a great organizational culture and workplace, that is the actual building of the product, right? People who are responsible for that part are leaders, are people managers, and HR. Then the branding part is different. That's letting the world know about this great product. And then let's say the customer service of the product equals to the employee experiences once somebody has actually wanted to test and try out this employer brand and becomes your new employee. And that's again about a leadership, the culture, and the employee experiences that are provided by leaders, managers, and HR. Employer branding is the communication part of it, and that's why great communication skills are detrimental to anyone working in employer branding in terms of the success of their work. Great communication skills are extremely important for you wanting to build that stellar career in employer branding. And not just where you work now, but if that organization does not provide you with a growth path in employer branding, then getting that next level somewhere else is what you want to do. And you need great communication skills for that and for your future. I've spoken about the great communicators and the 3 key characteristics that they share. This is not something that I've invented. This is from a person called Donald Miller, who is really famous with his story brand book and concept. And he's really good in marketing and communications. And I've learned that great communicators all share these 3 key characteristics from him. The first characteristic is that they are understood. Great communicators are understood. They know how to articulate their thoughts into clear messages. If you are not understood, there is this major layer of fog between you and your target audience. They have no clue what you're talking about. The message isn't sinking anywhere. So the first important skills that you need to develop as a great communicator is in becoming understood. The second key characteristic is that great communicators are perceived interesting by their audience. They have the skill to win attention and captivate their audience with their messages, with their clear messages. A clear message does not leave any room and space for interpretation. And being perceived interesting is also about how you use your voice, like I do, and how you portray the messages that you want the audience to receive. It's not always audio. It can be also visual or in some other kind of format. You need to know how to get that message to your target audience's minds and souls and heart and memory. And you need to know enough about your target audience to understand what will make your message interesting, what will make you interesting as a communicator so that you will win their attention. And the third key characteristics is that great communicators inspire change. A message that fails to impact is just plain fluff. It means nothing to the recipient. It's just noise, kind of a noise garbage for your ears or your eyes. So a great message makes a person to think, ponder, consider, taste it, and do something about it. Great message inspires change in their ideas, in their thoughts, in their behavior, in their decision making, in their choices. That's what great communicators achieve. They inspire change in their audience. So what kind of communication skills will benefit you in your career in employer branding? Let's be more specific about this. So first of all, I think, and I've spoken about this a lot as well, is copywriting skills. So copywriting is a commercial writing skill. So it's a very different type of skill than when you write for your own fun. If you write your diary, or if you write poems, or if you just jot notes for yourself or anything like that. So it's not like a regular writing skill. Copywriting can also be divided further into short form copywriting skills. Those refer to social media posts and captions and career site content, advertising copy that you may write or assess to be written by someone else. And then we have long form copywriting skills, which are used when you write articles and job posts and career stories and other longer form content that can be used in employer brand marketing phases to win attention, to grow awareness, to build brand affinity and convert people in your target audience as leads and candidates and advocates and so on. And I would say that copywriting is probably your most important communication skill, because it's quite likely that you'll be creating loads of content by yourself for a long time before you are in a position in your employer branding role where you actually lead a team of people, could be internal people or external partners who are copywriting for you. So copywriting is something that you really must ace. And one important employer branding area for communication is also those conversations with your target publics inside and outside your organization, as also with your stakeholders. Getting your point across verbally is equally important with your employer branding work. And you have to do it in a way that builds trust instead of barriers. That's the key in here. But also conversations in written in other media, such as social media, are very important in employer brand marketing, because at least at the time of recording this episode, many social media algorithms work in a way that they actually support more conversations on the platform than creating content and then just posting it and leaving the platform. So conversational writing is different from copywriting also. That's important to understand and learn. So basically, you need to become a great communicator and ace in compelling copywriting, conversational writing, trust-building verbal conversations, and engaging social media marketing communications. And crafting those short-form and long-form stories that resonate, connecting on a human level, and articulating the unique proposition of your employer are the skills that set you apart as a great employer branding professional. I'm going to link some additional content that I have about copywriting and getting your message right in the show notes article of this episode, which you can find at modernemployerbrand.com/podcast 178. Ready to talk about the next skill. The third definite area of skill development is in strategic employer branding is data analysis. I love data, and I want you to become a data geek as well, because You just can't imagine how much information data gives you. And you will need this skill regularly to stay on top of your talent market behavior. You want to use available research, analyze it, make conclusions on how given data impacts your work and you reaching your goals, the business, and thereafter your employer branding strategy. And keeping your eyes on any available talent market data gives you that compass that you need to successfully measure the impact of your work, of your strategy, of your action, of your content marketing. Understand the competitive landscape, understanding who your key competitors are for the same audience, also understanding what kind of trends are there in the workplace domain, how the work life changes. There's a lot of data, research and data done on that and will be doing as this domain is also changing. So you want to make sure that you eat all the relevant data that you have so that you are sitting on the top of valid information and analysis of what is relevant for you. I can't tell you how amazing it is to have a lot of information, data, facts that you can actually use to your advantage in your strategic employer branding. That will help you to literally tailor your approach to the ever-changing market dynamics. The fourth area of important skills development is public relations. And I want to pinpoint this to nurturing your stakeholder relationships specifically. Building and maintaining relationships with both within and outside the organization is pretty darn crucial for your personal success in your employer branding career. You personally need to have a buy-in from the top management, from marketing and or communications, people managers, people leaders in your organization, and also your employees, because you will personally need all of their support. And not just, yeah, you've got my support, but the kind of support, the kind of trust that gives you space, gives you ownership of the employer branding domain, gives you resources to do this work effectively, partaking when you need it, and overall, that usually necessarily trust that this is really important priority for the organization because it helps the business to grow. It's not just about getting someone hired. It's about helping the business to become more competitive. And when you have your important stakeholders to understand this, they will help you and they will give you time. Let's talk about what nurturing stakeholder relations look like. I would say that it's regular conversations and keeping those open communication lines open with this emphasis on how can I help you with my work in employer branding. You talk to your top management, you want to be aware of how they align their vision. You want to make sure that you are aware of what or how you can leverage the tool of employer branding to ensure coherence between internal and external branding, advocating for the value of employer branding to any skeptical stakeholders, and inviting them into these conversations way before you need them is really crucial because you want to make them feel like you want to learn from them. You want to hear their views and opinions. You want to keep them up to date with your plans. You want to be interested in how you can help them with your work. And, we are also talking about showing this keen interest in your stakeholders' problems and pain points that has nothing to do with employer branding. So, because when you know what they struggle with the most, and if you can figure out if there's anything in employer branding that could be offered as a solution for their pain and struggle, or at least part of a solution, then I'm telling you, you are that much closer to having their heart. Now, talent attraction and retention are one of the biggest struggles for pretty much all CEOs and other top leaders in organizations. So employer branding is actually a huge solution opportunity for them if they understand what employer branding actually means. The problem is most leaders mistakenly believe that employer branding is just a campaign. So what you need is to educate them in those conversations to help them see what it really means and how employer branding on a strategic level can be a huge competitive value add asset for them, their personal success as CEOs and as top management people, and for the business. And finally, the fifth most important skill set is financial acumen and understanding the concept of ROI. That's our friend Roy. We've talked about him before. Return on investment. Understanding and budgeting return on investment and the other financial implications of employer branding initiatives is the essential skill set for you. It's about proving the worth of your strategies in terms that resonate with top management and stakeholders. You're talking about their language, shows that you understand their world. This is what they want to hear. What do we win by investing in employer branding? What do we get more out of it than the investment is what you need to prove them. You need to build your employer branding case every year to get the budget and resources required to succeed in this role in ways that end up helping the top management. That's your priority. That's your winning tool. Depending on the level of EB maturity, employer branding maturity in your organization, it's quite possible that you have to actually start small and focus more on educating your stakeholders until you have won enough of their trust, and then starting smaller. I call this pilot employer branding, where you focus on a smaller area of an organization with, I would say, more impending emergency and urgency that helps you to succeed, win more trust, build a case. If I had look what I achieved with this much resources. If I had double or triple or whatever, I could imagine what I could actually achieve. And that's how you work to up your resources in the years to come. Okay, so now we have your top 5 skills to focus on. Next, we want to paint a vision of what your potential career progression from a novice to a visionary could look like. So I separated this into sort of 4 levels. First, you want to build the foundation. This is really important because this is when you're actually learning and developing your skills, your understanding, becoming the master in your mind. You may not necessarily have enough experience, but you need to have a solid foundation, kind of like an education, if you like. And I continue to believe that the best start for an employer branding career comes with a focus on mastering communication, employer brand communication, both written and verbal. And a good starting point is actually offering your communication skills and help in recruitment marketing area or internal communication area, and trying to figure out how can you use that platform, that availability, that media to also implement some employee branding in there. This will give you most work opportunities, as employer brand communication and marketing is definitely an area where there is a lot of demand, a lot of available work in the years to come, and unfortunately, very little truly talented professionals. I want to say this, even if you know how to write press releases or you have loved journaling your own life to your diary, or you know how to create fantastic PR campaigns for a business, or you are really great at doing search engine optimized marketing campaigns or digital marketing campaigns online, does not automatically equal knowing how to recognize suitable employer branding topics to communicate about, who your target audiences are, how to create consistent written and verbal content that invites a specific talent audience, into an organization's story as current or future employees. It doesn't mean that. I can definitely say wholeheartedly, I'm not even bragging about it, but I know for a fact, I can also prove it if anybody wants to challenge me on this, that I am probably, if not the best, or at least on the top 3, let's say, in the world in employer branding communication. I've done this for over 20 years. I've never done investor relations or investor communication. I've never done public relations. I would never, public relations for business. I would never claim that just because I'm really, really freaking awesome in employer brand communications and marketing and strategies, I would never claim that I was really I could do investor relations or any other or consumer marketing, because I don't have experience from that. I am not specialized in that. I'm not saying I couldn't learn it if I was motivated and wanted to learn and wanted to change my career into that. But just because I'm really great at one element and part of marketing, branding, and communications doesn't mean that I am a professional in another. So that's why I'm saying that there's only few truly talented professionals in the employer branding landscape who actually know how to communicate and market. Okay, I've said that before. I'm not afraid to say it again. Just because you're really great at something doesn't automatically mean that you're really great at something else. Here I want you to develop your knowledge and skills about the basics of strategic employer branding and employer brand marketing and communications, and make sure you understand the nuances that differentiate branding, marketing, and communications, and how to apply these skills in the chosen or available media and channels that you have for communicating with your target audiences and stakeholders. Then the next phase, advancing. You now want to focus on strategic influence and analysis. So I would say that the reasonable and natural career progression step in employer branding now is then to shift your attention to strategic planning and data analysis. Start engaging with talent market research, social media trends, the metrics that measure the success of employer branding initiatives, social media marketing, online marketing, digital marketing in general, web marketing. Look for research and data about trends in the work life and so on. You cannot succeed in employer branding ever without having a really good understanding of your target audience, their behavior, their motivators, their pain points and desires and aspirations, as well as of your target market, including your key competition for the same talent. These are not permanent either, meaning that once you know it, you're always on the top of it. The markets are dynamic. People are dynamic. People change. People come and go. They develop. They grow older. There's new people coming in. Consumer behavior changes. Expectations change. Business needs change. New businesses come and go. Old die and disappear, whatever. The operational environment is one always on the move because so much happens in and around it and the world, shaking and shaping businesses and organizations and value systems and people and the way we live and want to live. So you want to kind of develop an appetite, understanding that and understanding business strategies in general. As you progress, your role evolves going from executor to a more strategist. You'll be leading strategic employer branding, influencing your organizational strategy, managing employer brand perceptions, partners, collaborators, collaborating with stakeholders, managing stakeholder buy-in. You work with partners inside and outside the organization. You hire and coach people in your employer branding team, probably build your own professional employer brand networks, contribute to your employer branding domain, and most of all, you lead the employer branding work that provides the tangible benefits of a strong employer brand to top management, the business as a whole, and the people working in your organization. Growing into a leadership role is an awesome career journey. And because everything is still so new, you have all the opportunities you want for yourself available if you just go for it. It's there waiting for you, my friend. Which takes us back to you. your aspirations and desires and your personality, self-awareness and self-confidence required to carve your own path in employer branding. As this is such a new domain, you cannot really expect to get much help from your own superior or marketing or communications. And I want to emphasize this. The journey to becoming an employer branding leader is self-driven. With organizations still grasping the full potential of employer branding, your initiative, your creativity, and ability to present data-backed strategies will actually set you apart. And you need to find your online mentors and examples to follow so that you can self-drive, self-steer your career development in this amazing field. And since you listen to this podcast, I hope you know that I'm your mentor. I'm your online guide in this universe. You need one. If I resonate with you, if you resonate with me, then I'm here. You need someone that paves the way for you, someone who you can learn from, who you can mimic, use as your source of inspiration and motivation and guide to show you which way to go. I mean, it could be me, it could be somebody else. But I think that what I've learned, because I've got my own sort of online people that I follow and have followed over the years, not in employer branding landscape, but elsewhere. And I would say that stick with one or two, because I used to go after so many. And then I realized that I'm getting kind of conflicting messages and it just confuses me when I'm trying to learn something. So stick with someone or two and find your path, and then go forward from that. Regularly seek learning opportunities, be through online courses, mentorship, or industry conferences. I mean, I would say that your career is a testament to your ability to foresee those opportunities, solve those complex business problems that can be solved with branding and marketing and communications, and present solutions that align with the strategic goals of your organization. You want to become really invested in the business strategy of your organization. Talk about it with your top management. Ask them to explain what it means. You want to learn about it because you want to figure out where this organization is going and how you can help it with employer branding. You need to take matters into your own hands, my friend, if this career is what you want. No one else is going to do it for you or provide you with opportunities that even they know nothing about. That's the kind of the beauty of it, but that is also the threat of it. Okay, let's wrap this up. As we look for the future, I think it's clear that the leaders in employer branding will be those who are not only skilled communicators and strategists, but also visionaries, capable of propelling their organizations into new heights, if you like. And your career in employer branding is not just about finding talent, it's building cultures, fostering innovation, and driving growth. But when I say building cultures, I don't mean that you initiate necessarily the organizational culture work, but you help build it because you give it a voice. You give it a voice, you share it. And with each step forward, you're not only advancing your career, but you're also shaping the future of work. I mean, is there anything more meaningful than that? The path, my friend, is yours to forge. And the impact you can make, I would say, limitless. Look at me. I'm just a girl who comes from this tiny land of Finland at the corner of the world and who has impacted the entire world with this. Now, I want you to welcome you to this exciting world of modern employer branding, where your vision actually can become a blueprint for the future organizations in and around the globe. And I want to say that if you're new to this podcast and career in employer branding inspires you, I have two very easy, also free recommendations for you. Because if you have not yet done this, make sure that you download my free ebook, Building a Modern Employer Brand. This ebook, it's not that long, even though it's more like a PDF, few pages. It pinpoints you what modern employer branding is and how it differs from traditional employer branding. Because if you want to be successful in employer branding, you want to stop seeing it as the traditional format. That's not where success is. And if that ebook excites you, then I'm your guide. I invented the modern employer branding, and no one else can guide you better in this domain than I can. And if I am your online guide and mentor, then make sure that you follow me online on LinkedIn and Instagram, but also YouTube. If you spend time on the tube, that way we are connected beyond this podcast. Now, all these links will be available for you on modernemployerbrand.com/podcast 178. If modern employer branding or career in employer branding is not your thing, that's okay, my friend. I'm not the one who can help you or excite you about work and life, maybe, but I'm sure that there's someone else out there who can. You just need to find your person. That's all for this week, my dear audience. When you're listening to this episode, I have just been to a back surgery. I have no idea whether there will be an episode next week. Let's see if I can get myself up. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to Building a Modern Employer Brand podcast on your favorite podcast app or YouTube. My name is Susanna Rantanen. As always, let's spread the word of modern employer branding. Thanks for tuning in. Moi moi.